Welcome back for another edition of Safe and Sound. I'm your host, Doug Bolnick from the St. Charles County Department of Community Health and the Environment. On today's program, we're emphasizing the importance of clean living and checking in to organizations that monitor our surroundings. Clean water is vital to our existence, but have you thought about what goes into keeping our waterways clean? St. Charles County Environmental Public Health Specialist Michele Watkins will explain what's being done to protect our water systems. Fats and calories are important parts of our diet, but too much of them can be bad for our system. St. Charles County nutritionist Danielle Lakenburger will visit with me on ways we can swap foods to clean up our plates. The Division of Environmental Health and Protection works to ensure that area food providers operate properly. We'll learn about their Basic Food Sanitation Certification classes and join a facility inspection to see what's being done. We require clean air to breathe, but carbon monoxide can build up, especially in the winter when we use our heaters and fireplaces. Central County Fire and Rescue Assistant Chief Steve Brown will offer some tips to keep our homes safe. But first, we've heard a great deal in the news lately about some new and unusual illnesses spreading the globe. Allison Tucker, epidemiologist from the Division of Public Health, will tell us how these emerging diseases are tracked here in St. Charles County. Allison, welcome back to Safe and Sound.
Thanks for having me.
So how does St. Charles County staff work with medical providers from both our region, from the state, and also from the federal government to track emerging diseases?
There are several ways that we track diseases. One of those, when you have illnesses such as flu or salmonella, those are considered reportable conditions. So medical providers, laboratories are required to report those conditions to us. So when we get those, we investigate them, we log them, and we track them over time. We can look at those at the local level, the state level, and even at national level. If we were to have an outbreak of something or even a rare illness that we're not used to seeing, and we need some help investigating that, we can call on our state and federal agencies such as the CDC, and then we would all work together to investigate those cases. We also do what's called active disease surveillance. That's where we're really going out and actively trying to see what's going on in our community. So we have a system called Essence that we use for that. And Essence is a real-time database that looks at chief complaints from emergency departments. So if you were to go to an emergency department, when you give your complaint and they log that into the computer, it automatically goes into our database. It's not looking at your name or your address. All it's doing is allowing public health officials to look at chief complaints, kind of monitor symptoms in the community. It gives us an idea of what's circulating in our community. We also have good relationships with hospitals, urgent care, medical providers, schools, daycares. So if we're seeing something that's circulating and we feel like they need to know, we have the means to reach out to them and ask for information or just give them some information, and they're really good at getting that information back to us too.
Although on a regular basis, your staff predominantly works with common illnesses. We've heard in the news the last couple of weeks about something scary called Ebola. What can you tell me about Ebola?
Ebola is a scary disease. It does have a fairly high death rate, but the thing that works with us when it comes to Ebola is that it's not that contagious. It's not easy to catch Ebola. You have to have direct contact with someone who is ill with Ebola. You have to have direct contact with their bodily fluids. Even amongst households, if you have a patient there, only 1 in 6 become ill, if that kind of puts it in perspective a little bit. So Ebola can be easily controlled with isolation and quarantine. Isolating the patient who is sick and then monitoring and quarantining all contacts to that patient so that if they do develop symptoms, we can get them to a hospital and limit their number of contacts. Right now in the United States, we monitor all travelers that are coming back from affected countries in West Africa so that we have those control measures in place. So for the general public, there's not a real risk of contracting Ebola, but I think it is important to know what it is and how important it is to control it in the countries that are seeing it.
It's really nice to know that the likelihood of someone getting something that drastic is pretty low. But there are chances for people to get common diseases and common illnesses. What are some things that people can do to prevent just illness in general, I guess?
I cannot stress hand washing enough. Hand washing, soap, water. most of the illness we get are from picking up germs, viruses, bacteria on our hands and then touching our face. So if we're regularly washing our hands with soap and water, you really reduce that risk. If soap and water is not available, hand sanitizers will also work. And especially this time of year with flu season, we're in the middle of flu season, it's important to know that you can get the flu shot to protect yourself and your family members, and it's not too late to get that flu shot.
Where could somebody get some more information about what your staff does?
You can call our health department at any time. Our number is 636-949-7400, or you can visit our website.
Thanks so much, Allison. It's reassuring to know that people are working to help keep us safe. Thank you.
Thank you.
Another way we can all be reassured is to understand the efforts to protect the quality of water sources. To give us an insight into what's being done to preserve our water quality, we next visit with Michele Watkins from the St. Charles County Division of Environmental Health and Protection.
It's important to have clean water because pure water is essential to all life on Earth, which, much like our bodies, is 70% water. The majority of St. Charles County residents and business owners obtain public water from sources related to the Mississippi or Missouri rivers, while some households have their own private wells. The Division of Environmental Health and Protection assists municipal, state, and federal agencies by testing well water for licensed food and daycare establishments. We test for coliform and E. coli bacteria. We also give and receive test kits to all St. Charles County residents if requested. Public health agencies and others have greatly reduced incidences of deadly illnesses and help maintain a healthy environment. There's several ways that you can help keep our water clean by preventing erosion. Sediment is the #1 pollutant of local waterways. Properly dispose of waste and pick up litter that may end up in local waterways. Never pour chemicals or hazardous materials on the ground or into sewers. Landscape with native plants to minimize the need for fertilizers and pesticides. Protect wetlands, which serve as a buffer against pollutants, erosion, and flooding. Report any suspicious dumping or activity to the Division of Environmental Health and Protection, or even form a stream team in your community. For information on water quality within St. Charles County and resources within our community, please call us at 636-949-1800 or visit us at our website at www.sccmo.org and follow the links to our department webpage.
Thanks, Michele, for ensuring the purity of our water sources. Stay tuned after this break to learn about other programs that keep our community safe and sound.
Here's to the things that can keep us safe. Those we use all the time with hardly a thought. Those that are silently standing by to save our lives. And now, those that we carry with us everywhere we go. Many mobile devices will now bring you wireless emergency alerts, real-time information directly from local sources you know and trust. With the unique sound and vibration, you'll be in the know wherever you are.
Up, college is hard. Down, those books are heavy.
My sport is football, but my passion is education. So every year I take promising high schoolers on a college tour to show them that higher education means a brighter future. My name is Nnamdi Asamoah. I don't just wear the shirt, I live it.
You can be a reader, tutor, or mentor too. Take the pledge at liveunited.org/volunteer.
Do you wear this?
Everybody has a dream. Mine was to see the ocean. And with a little help, I made it.
How you doing? My name's Steve. My family's lived in this neighborhood for years. Recently, things got so tight, we had to go to our local food bank for help. I lost a lot of sleep worrying about what the neighbors might think. That is until I saw them there, too. How'd I do, Steve?
A little stiff. You could have done a little better.
What? Come on. You know, I have an Academy Award.
Yeah, but not for playing me.
Play a role in ending hunger. Visit feedingamerica.org/hunger and find your local food bank.
Welcome back to this edition of Safe and Sound. where we're learning about programs that are making St. Charles County better. There's a lot we can do to make the foods we eat better. Next, Danielle Lakenburger, a St. Charles County nutritionist, offers suggestions on how we can swap fats and calories without losing the flavor of our meals. Danielle, thanks for coming back to the show.
Thanks for having me.
Why should we consider the fats and calories, and why should we lower them?
So there's many reasons to actually consider doing that. For one would be a person that's including a lot of high-fat foods in their diet can increase their risk for heart disease, some cancers, and a person that's including a lot of fats in their diet usually end up having a pretty high calorie intake included, which then increases their risk for obesity. Obesity can increase the risk for gallbladder disease, hypertension, and diabetes.
So what are some common things that raise the amount of fats and calories in our diets?
So there's several things that can increase that, but the most common things that are seen included in the American diet would be fast food, many dairy products, processed foods, your sides, condiments, and in fact 33% of the USDA's top 100 high-fat foods were fast foods.
So are there some things that we can do to swap out some of those bad fats and calories and put in some good things without losing texture and flavor that we love in our foods?
Yeah, well first I would tell people, when trying to make changes, not necessarily cutting out everything that you love, trying to pay attention to your portions is most important. But then there's several different substitutions that you can do in your diet that are pretty simple. So a few examples that I would have would be if you were wanting potatoes, you could choose sweet potatoes, or even looking up different recipes using cauliflower. You can actually use cauliflower to make mashed cauliflower, which is very similar to mashed potatoes. If you were wanting to include pasta, you could choose whole wheat pasta, quinoa, spaghetti squash, or eggplant. Or if you were having a sweet tooth and wanted to have ice cream, you could always choose frozen yogurt. That's pretty simple. And a lot of recipes tend to call for sour cream, so you can use fat-free yogurt, cottage cheese, or even just simply choosing fat-free sour cream instead of regular sour cream. And in baking, you can choose, instead of using butter, applesauce or fruit purees. And like I said, there's several different substitutions that you can make, but really I just think people need to check out different recipes and try new things, because I think in the end people would be pretty pleased with what the end result was.
So if we were interested in learning more about this, or if we wanted to find some of those cool recipes you mentioned, where could we go?
There's tons out there, but you could go to heart.org and actually click on the Getting Healthy tab, or you could even go to choosemyplate.gov, and they have a lot of good information too.
Thanks again for coming in, Danielle. You always have some wonderful ideas for us.
Thank you.
Along with considering the nutritional value of the foods we eat, it's important to check that they're prepared properly. Division of Environmental Health and Protection Specialists work with area food providers to teach basic sanitation guidelines. St. Charles County's Dale Trentham will explain these monthly sessions.
Is certification given to the food workers that attend our basic food safety class. This class is designed for food service workers, and in order to provide them with the information for safe food handling. And our hope is that this helps reduce the incidences of foodborne illness. When we inspect a restaurant, anyone who is in charge of the restaurant, the person we say that's in charge, must have food safety certification. And the basic food safety class offers that opportunity for food safety instruction. It's our hope that anyone who stores, prepares, handles food in any way would benefit from taking this class. Yeah, there's several topics covered in the little workbook that each participant gets. We cover just the importance of food safety handling procedures, which is why we hope that part would help them to know what foodborne illness is, what causes it, and how to help prevent that. We also cover things on personal hygiene, which would include proper hand washing, which is probably the single most important thing they can do other than the cooking temperatures. In that, we discuss the steps for proper hand washing. We also cover type of clothing and what to wear, jewelry, and etc. We cover controlling time and temperature of potentially hazardous foods. We discuss the temperature danger zone and why it's important to keep the food out of that zone. We cover cleaning and sanitizing of food surfaces as well as equipment. And then The prevention of cross-contamination is one of our topics, and that just means preventing pathogens from being transferred from one food surface to another or food contact surface to another. And then we also have slides that go along with some of the things we talk about. We try to show some of the slides of things we've actually seen in our restaurants and hope to prevent some of those things that we are able to show them. But basically it's the textbook and then whatever we have on PowerPoint presentation. You get certification by attending the class, which is about 2 to 2.5 hours. Following the class, there will be a test. There's a 50-question test, multiple choice, true, false. But we cover everything. There are a few things we leave off just to see if they can get this without, verbatim from the classroom. But most of the questions are covered in the classroom, and everybody gets a certificate. The class is offered the third Thursday of each month. It meets at 2 p.m. and again it's about 2 to 2.5 hours. Usually they're out there between 4:30 and 5. They can enroll by going online at health.sccmo.org, or they can come to the office at 1650 Boonslick and pick up an application.
Thanks, Dale, for helping to look out for our safety. After this short break, we'll learn about more ways to live safer and healthier.
There's no place like home.
Getting home safely is just a click away. But making sure your child is in the right seat is just one of the steps down the road to safer travels.
I don't know how it works.
Find the right seat for your little one's age and size.
We've done what you told us.
There's no better way to get home safely. Know for sure that your child is in the right seat. Get all the facts at safercar.gov/the right seat. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
My new mom and I have a lot in common.
The great outside.
We both love the outdoors.
So shiny.
That's not a flower. We both love geology.
Oh, look. An igneous one.
That's not a rock. And she knows a lot about wildlife.
A labradoodle.
That's not a dog. Hanging out has been kind of fun.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of kids in foster care will take you just as you are. Body language can tell you all sorts of things. Like someone is having a stroke. Know the sudden signs. Learn fast. Face drooping, arm weakness, speech difficulty. Time to call 911 and get them to a hospital immediately. Learn the body language and spot a stroke fast.
So, I'm kind of new here, but I've noticed a trend. My human does this funny thing where she goes around and gets all my toys, and then she hides them in that basket by the door. But it's always the same basket, and it's always in the same place. And then she acts so surprised when I find them, but, she's putting them in the same basket. Again. It's like, hello, that's where you put it last time. You were the worst at hide and go seek.
So, same time next week?
Well, of course. Put away a few bucks, feel like $1 million. For free tips to help you save, go to Feed the Pig.
Welcome back to Safe and Sound. I'm your host, Doug Bolnick. On today's episode, we're discussing policies and programs that help make St. Charles County healthier. In our last segment, we discovered classes that teach food providers proper sanitation procedures. And now Ryan Tilley, Director of the Division of Environmental Health and Protection, will show us what his staff looks for when conducting regular inspections of area food establishments.
Within a relatively short period of time, improper food handling and foodborne illnesses can result in a large number of people becoming sick very quickly. That's why it's so important that St. Charles County Department of Community Health and the Environment continues to do routine inspections throughout the year. Food establishment can include other things besides your typical restaurant. It may also include gas stations, grocery stores, church kitchens, school cafeterias, and even nursing homes. An inspection can entail a number of things. First, you want to review the last inspection. You want to have a friendly greeting with a display of your ID. You want to request to see the last license and the last inspection and any training certificates that they might have as well. An inspector has to begin taking temperatures of food and checking sanitizer concentrations. It's not unusual to spend a couple of minutes in a walk-in freezer or in a walk-in cooler. The inspector needs to watch staff behaviors and where and how they hand wash. So you have to stand back and watch exactly how they're doing these different steps. The inspector will walk through the establishment from the back to the front or from the front to the back, depending upon their personal preference. The inspector's eye has to scan the facility floor to ceiling so that he catches all things within the facility. An inspector must not be afraid to move things around. He can use tools to help him or her do this, such as a flashlight or a camera. The division completes approximately 1,500 inspections a year. Each facility gets a different number of inspections, so depending upon what type of facility we're doing, we'll do a different number of inspections for that facility. For example, we also inspect temporary food events at festivals. We'll go to farmers markets. We also do mobile food trucks. Each inspection is different because we might do up to 4 inspections for some facilities that are a larger risk to the community, and then we might only do 1 or 2 inspections for a small facility like a gas station. Every establishment is required to post their last inspection within public view. That means when a customer walks into a restaurant, they can actually scan around the walls of the facility when they first walk in, and they should be able to see what that last score of the establishment was before they dine. Alternatively, we do also post QR codes on the windows before you walk in. So if you have a smartphone, you can actually scan that QR code, which takes you to our website where you can look up the last inspection result. A customer can also go to our website at sccmo.org and follow the prompts. If you go to services and then food inspection results, you can find the last inspection of that facility. If someone would like to report a concern of cleanliness or proper food handling of a restaurant, they can call our office at 636-949-1800.
Thank you, Ryan, for helping set the standard in food safety. Carbon monoxide is a potentially deadly gas that can build up in homes with fireplaces or electric heaters. To help prevent carbon monoxide poisoning, Assistant Chief Steve Brown from Central County Fire and Rescue offers some helpful tips. Steve, thanks for coming in today.
Thanks, Doug.
What exactly is carbon monoxide and why is it bad?
Carbon monoxide is a byproduct of combustion, and it's produced whenever fuels burn incompletely, and it's a byproduct.
So why is carbon monoxide bad to people?
Carbon monoxide actually clings to the red blood cells a lot more effectively than oxygen does. So when you breathe it in, what it does is it replaces the oxygen in your system with carbon monoxide and basically suffocates you.
Is it easy to know if you have carbon monoxide in your home?
Well, carbon monoxide is actually odorless and tasteless, so you won't be able to sense it unless you start showing some of the symptoms. The best way to do it is to have a carbon monoxide detector. We get asked all the time, where should I put a carbon monoxide detector? Should I put it in the basement near the furnace, or do I put it in my bedroom? Carbon monoxide has the same specific weight as air, so it mixes evenly throughout the entire home. So what we recommend is that you put the detector in the hallway or in your bedroom, someplace that you could hear it in the middle of the night if it was to activate. And then if the detector does go off, don't change anything, just go outside, call 911 from your neighbor's house.
If someone does find that their levels are kind of unusual, whether it be inside their home or inside their bodies, what should they do?
Well, one of the ways that you can tell if or get an idea that carbon monoxide is a problem is if you start having flu-like symptoms, and especially if everybody in the house is having it. Headaches, nausea, dizziness is a very high hazard from carbon monoxide. If that happens, then you want to go ahead and leave the house and call 911. What we ask is that you don't change anything in your house. Leave everything as it is, leave the windows closed. That way when we come in with our monitors, we can help detect what appliance or what is causing the carbon monoxide and determine the levels and provide you a better response.
And if someone was interested in getting more information, could they go to a website or?
Sure, they can go to our website at centralcountyfire.org. We have more information about carbon monoxide and safety tips.
Thanks again, Steve. You always have a great deal of information to bring.
Thank you, Doug.
We hope this information will help you realize that there are groups working hard to protect our community. Please join me next time to learn more ways to keep you and your family safe and sound.